Hello, Scorpio. How are y'all doing? Kind of ready to see what this says tonight. I'm recording it, I think, on the 19th. My sense of dates is all out of whack. So, it's seeing what day it is. Thursday. Y'all's will be uploaded tomorrow night. And it's gonna kind of be like a what are they thinking, doing, feeling kind of spread. I tried to explain it longer in some of the other readings, but I'm like, you'll figure it out. It is sort of like a Celtic cross in the beginning, but then there's a lot more cards I'm pulling. This is strange. So if you have someone in your life that you are not communicating with right now, or you cannot see them very well, they actually don't look that bad. It's weird because most of the readings I've been doing, it's like an ex who's still affecting their mind, or it's been a relationship with the rocks that it's just not working out. And it's so weird because you guys, I'm not saying necessarily that you're going to end up with this person or back together with them. But if you're wondering what they're going through right now, what they're thinking, yada yada, they're the world right now reversed. So I feel like they have a lot of odds stacked up against them right now. They are definitely not, what would you call it, in a very victorious position, not very successful position. They're kind of down on their luck. And that's because they've been fighting some type of oppression, because they're crossing, their challenge is the Eight of Swords. So if you can't see what's going on, it may not have anything to do with you. If you feel like they're not communicating with you or anything, it doesn't mean that, they have an issue with you. It's that they're going through something right now, because the Eight of Swords upright, it's going to be someone who's being mistreated, possibly victimized. And then when it's reversed, it's standing up to that. It's standing up to abuse, verbal abuse. Sometimes it's just breaking free from it and being able to remove the blindfolds, or being able to remove, the ties that bind. And so I think this person is struggling to break free from some sort of, what is the word I'm looking for? I know there's oppression, but that's another word. I feel like they're breaking free from, like deception, from being deceived, from being used or something, And it's strange because what they want looks like a divorce. That's what they want, is the Hierophant reverse, which a lot of times is a divorce. So if it's not, a legitimate technical divorce, it's a severing of some sort of contract. It can be a karmic contract. It can be just a spiritual divorce from someone, or a spiritual separation from a group of people. And what they have is bravery and strength and integrity, because they're fighting from a standpoint, a position of integrity. So it actually raises them above their peers or their opponents or their rivals, because they are in the right, So it's actually someone that's not really a jerk. Like, I've seen so many readings this last week where they're verbally abusive or they're angry, and it's like, this is not that bad. In the past, they had the Sun, which means they had a joyful, happy time, beautiful growth season, love, abundance, vision for the future. So whoever deceived them probably took that away or broke it. And in the future, they have the Three of Cups reversed in the near future. So that is probably refusing to get together with a group of people, or breaking off of an engagement, or you know, sometimes every so often usually if I see other cards that symbolize, you know, like debauchery or something, I would say that, because upright it can be happy, celebration, partying, and enjoyment, and reverse sometimes to me can be someone who is like depressed, drinking, or um you know, getting drunk, alcoholism, because they were sad that things did not work out. So that could be what this person goes into, um which is awful. Let's see. Where are we at? So now we're gonna pull. No, I want to do these first because that's how I originally had it. I'm gonna pull some cards that shows us how they feel about you right now. First, how they felt about you in the past, so how they feel about you now, and how they will feel about you. Man, the last person I was with kind of I don't want to say forced me to drink so much, but it was like I felt coerced into drinking too much to the point where I don't even like alcohol anymore. It's weird. Almost every guy I've ever known does not know when to quit drinking. Like, they overdrink. They don't know how to just enjoy a glass of wine. They like go crazy with it. Or, you know, it's like they need you to drink a lot so that you can be, you know, easy to coerce sexually and whatnot. And I got so grossed out by it. I can't really touch this stuff now. I still like to drink. Trust me, I do. I just don't want to spend the money on it. And it's just, I don't know. I have not had time to think about it. Probably, okay, completely irrelevant. But like when I was really young, there was this guy who, like, you know, I used to smoke, you know, smoke the stuff. Back when it was hippie stuff, this medical stuff, I qualify for it. It is so dang strong. It just makes me pass out. I can't do it. But when I was young, the old hippie weed, you know, the ex I had was so manipulative, and when we would smoke it, it's like so he could be easier to control what I did and stuff. So like anytime people try to get me to smoke it after that, I have like flashbacks, and like it makes me have panic attacks. So I don't like smoking with people. And then I'm wondering if the same thing has happened with alcohol, where like I don't mind a little bit around people I trust, but like I almost like freak out at the idea of having too much because of how many nights I felt gross and this person was all over me like a slobbery ass. But I've had seasons where I did drink a little bit too much when I was sad, you know, not like creeper drunk, but, and this person might end up doing that because they might be just going through a lot, you know. Now, they did feel like the Page of Swords with you. Right now they feel the Strength card, and in the future they feel the Magician reversed. So I feel like in the past, they either wanted to communicate with you, but just a little, or they felt like that's how you were doing them. You know, I think since this is how they felt about you, I think they felt like you were pretty surface level in your communication. They didn't see the depth of you. And especially for y'all being Scorpios, if you act shallow with someone, they can sense when you're being fake. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to like, you know, step on your toes, but sometimes Scorpios think they're all smooth and sneaky, and you're not. Like, you can be when people want to. Okay, here's the thing. I have a Scorpio brother, even, right? And I remember him saying, like, and I have Scorpio rising, so I'm totally not dog and Scorpio. Like, almost every, my kids, we all have Scorpio on our chart, so. But, you know, my brother said something to me, just like a Libra person I knew years ago, like, I know how to manipulate people. And I was like, first off, being dumb enough to say that, stupid. I was like, secondly, we all do. Unless you're a complete moron, everyone knows how to manipulate people. It takes a mature adult not to. You know, to actually try to make sure you're not doing it, right? But sometimes Scorpios think they're being really smooth by trying to act. I've noticed Scorpio suns, which you guys are going to get so mad at me if I say this, but I'm telling you the truth. I've noticed Scorpio suns are the most likely to downplay their Scorpio energy because they're trying to not let anyone know how intense they are because they've learned very young that it scares people away. So they really try to like blend in and appear normal. Whereas as Scorpio risings and Scorpio moons, my kids, man, we're like, yeah, we're freaks. Look at this, you know, like we don't mind our Scorpio intensity and kind of like showing it off because it's not our sun sign. And so, and especially with my rising, Scorpio moons and risings are known to have like big eyes that like entrance people and stuff. And the weird thing is the Scorpio sun, sometimes the least likely for me to notice is a Scorpio at first, because they're so good at keeping it really, like the little Scorpio heartbeat is real quiet, like bloop, bloop. Well, since they saw you like that, they probably just thought you were being immature, or that they knew that you didn't have enough trust in them yet, and they just don't have the patience for it. They might now, because they have the strength card, so they feel like they feel like you're being really, really strong and successful and dependable, or they might actually feel like it's going to take a lot more strength than they thought just to deal with you. But whatever it is, I do think that they feel that you are strong, and that you are constant, and that you are stable, and that you have potential, which is not bad, because maybe what they're going through with someone else has actually been very destabilizing for them. If they had the sun and now they have this desire for divorce, and they've gone through a lot of trials and things, y'all may not have worked out, but the person they were with after you, it's not working out. So it's actually very possible that you look a lot better in their eyes now. And in the future, they see you, or they feel about you, the Magician reversed, which to me is not necessarily a good thing, because they might think that you are trying to be manipulative or sneaky or tricky. And if you're behaving that way, I understand. Like I said before, sometimes Scorpios don't do it to be mean. It's just because they're so afraid that if they come off too intense or too obsessive or anything, they're afraid of scaring people away. So they sometimes try to downplay it. This person probably can read you like a book, whether you realize it or not. I think this person that you are focused on is also very intuitive. And I think that they probably can sense it if you are trying to be too careful in your steps. So you don't want to overplay the normal, guys. You know, you might want, if you want to be with this person, you probably should be a little bit more of yourself, which I know is not easy, because I know Scorpios have tons of layers. And, you know, if you don't relate to that, that's fine. Like, I know you can't stereotype, you know. It's like, it's weird, because, my daughter and I talked about this, how different my generation is from the one now. Like, now everyone wants labels, because it almost sets them free. The boundaries of a label makes them feel good. You know, they label their sexuality, they label their mental condition, da, da, da. And I was like, when I was young, it was so not cool. Like in the 90s, it was like the big thing to say was, I don't stereotype, I don't have a label. So things have changed a lot. And so I still don't want to sound like I'm stereotyping, but I will say, you know, I do know that sometimes that is your defense mechanism to protect yourself, but it can also prevent you from having a genuine relationship with a very genuine, authentic person. It's fear. And to be honest, even though I'm just a Scorpio rising, I do it too. Oh, I do it. I'm not going to let people see the real me most of the time. They think I'm an open book, because I have a lot of third house, Aquarius, Libra, so I can talk. You see, I talk like crazy, right? But do you think I'm going to let them in? Ha, 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 ha. If you're anything like me, you're probably thinking the same thing. Ha, 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 ha. Like, fuck off, right? Not going to happen. You have to earn that right, don't you? At least that's how I feel. But anyway, so let's see. Their current state and your current state. Okay. Their current state is they don't feel like they have the energy or the nourishment to put in effort in a relationship right now. It looks like they went through a really, really bad breakup. You know, with that, what is it? 8 of Swords crossing them, and the Hierophant reversing what they want, and then them having to fight with integrity right now. I think they're going through a bad breakup. I think their partner was abusive, probably. You know, either physically, financially, verbally, emotionally, psychologically, in one of these forms. And I think it's really damaged them. And so right now, they just don't feel like they have what it takes to put in energy for a relationship. That may be why they see you as so strong, because they're probably thinking, you're just too strong for me. You know, I don't think I can handle you. It's just, it may be too much for me. I don't think they feel like they are being fed enough nourishment by Creator, by Mother Earth, or anything to be able to manifest a relationship at this time. Now, you have the Sal reversed. And so I kind of feel like y'all need to be careful, because the Sal reverse can be kind of greedy. Upright is generosity, it's fertility, it's nourishment, mothering, nurturing. And reverse, it can be like being pig-headed in a way, like being an ass or being ugly because you're judging people on how they look. And I'm not saying that that's what you're doing, but that's kind of the surface level thinking when you have this out reverse. I might actually read it for y'all so that y'all can understand what it means, because it's not just that, okay? You may need to revise your image of yourself. There is an old Gaelic saying, when you thought you were on the sow's back, you were beside her in the puddle. Although the sow symbolizes nourishment, fertility, and giving, she can also represent greed and pig ignorance. Perhaps you need to work towards a greater understanding of the subtleties of life, rather than relying on simply on your looks or physique. Without wisdom, even beauty can be unattractive. Appearances can be deceptive, so judge people or propositions on their true merits and intrinsic worth rather than their outward appearances. Wow, guys. That's intense and deep, and it probably feels almost insulting, but I've gotten that before when I do my own readings. It's just reminding you to humble yourself a bit. You might think you're better than someone else right now, and you might not be thinking that really, but you might be acting that way. Or you might look that way, you know? And you really need to check yourself and make sure that you're not like, you know, thinking that you're better than someone, or that they're not quite good enough for you because they don't look as good as you, or, you know, have the same status as you. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people can be like, well, if only you lost 20 pounds, I'd date you. Or if only you were 20 years younger. Or if only you made 20,000 more a year. Or, you know, like if you start having it, like if those are your reasons why you didn't approach this person in the past, that's probably why it's saying that. Okay, and the overall outcome for you both is the guys, this is crazy, because this is like really correlating with that. I really don't like just sitting here reading cards, but sometimes I feel like y'all need to hear it, because if I just sit here and tell y'all this, y'all are gonna be like, you're mean to Scorpio, and I'm like, no, this is not me, these are the cards. So, and of course, you know, there may be cross watchers out here, I don't know, but you know, you can reverse roles, and also sometimes cross watchers, you might actually be watching a Scorpio who is the one going through the hard breakup and the divorce. You know, a lot of times you have to reverse roles in these things, sometimes you don't. Okay, it says, you could be paying too much attention to detail. Being precise and hawk-eyed can be valuable, but taken to its extreme and without a wider overview, it can lead to cruelty. High ideals, if not balanced with a sense of humility, lead to arrogance and ultimately a denial of the heart. Be careful not to get carried away by the justness of your cause, while forgetting to take into consideration the feelings of others. Wow, guys. I'm wondering, maybe, like, okay, I'm just going to say this because I don't want y'all to feel like, you know, the cards are just telling y'all off, but I'm thinking is, what if, like, you felt like this person kind of turned you down in the past? Maybe you never actually were with them, or you were and it didn't work out, but say you felt like they never really got to know you. Well, they feel the same way about you. And maybe your way of coping with that is like, you know, looking at everything that's wrong with them. Like, you know, they have beady eyes and they're overweight, or they're this, or they're that, or they're this. And you're judging all their flaws, but you were drawn to them and you felt a deep connection with them, but you blew it off simply because of your pride or your ego. An ego is not necessarily what people think. Like, if you know, those of you who are more awake than others know that there's your spirit and your ego, and fear is the ego, you know. Reacting instead of responding is ego. Like, your ego is that part of you that just protects you, your flesh, you know, whereas your spirit thinks very differently. And sometimes we get into our ego whenever we're scared or feel rejected. And so it's very possible, you know, that you may be overcompensating for that fear that they would reject you by looking at all that's wrong with them to make yourself feel better. And in the process, you might miss out on a really golden opportunity, you know? Okay, so we're going to pull the outcome for just them, just you and both of you. We have the Two of Swords reverse bottom of the deck. I think some of you just watching this reading is kind of helping you understand, you know, that you might have thought you were protecting yourself in over evaluating the situation, but you might actually be this like you might actually be doing what they think you're going to be doing, which is negative manifesting or pushing away love. Okay, the outcome for them is the Six of Swords reverse, which means they might actually, sometimes that's actually recovering from an illness or recuperating from a situation. Sometimes it's just being stuck and not moving on. Because upright, it can be literally moving or moving on from a really hard situation. But they might actually just be stuck right now. And you are actually the Queen of Wands. So you're probably stable and content. And it's weird because I see you as the strength. And then if you're the Queen of Wands, that means that you have a very like stable, nurturing, healthy, physical home life. You know, you're running your estate well, you're running your home well, you know, you're running on all cylinders. You probably feel very confident at this time. It may be why you also have to make sure that you're not overly critical of those who look weaker than you, because sometimes when you're sitting on your throne and you do feel as strong as they see you, they can feel like you're looking down on them, and you might actually do that a little bit on accident, not because you're trying to, but because sometimes when you do have your shit together really well, you can have a little bit of pride and look down on people who don't have their stuff together. But remember, this person doesn't have their stuff together because they ended up with something that was bad for them. And we all have seasons in our life when we have to recover from things like that. And the outcome for both of you is the Five of Swords, which means you probably won't end up with this person unless one of you change. Or change your thinking, because this is like fighting to win at all costs. I think you both are protecting your pride, your ego, your sensitive heart. You have a lot of walls up, and you're both afraid of the future. You're both afraid it won't work out. And I think you're both defensive. It can be petty arguing that's not even worth it, you know? And so I just don't think, y'all may just not be ready for each other. Y'all may have had a beautiful connection in the past, but I don't think that you're ready for it. I don't think that they're ready for it. So now the nice thing is the future is fluid. You know, it can change on the drop of a dime. The future is so fluid. It's strange because even though I have had a lot of prophetic dreams my whole life, it's amazing how things can change. I even have what I call deja vu dreams, where I actually dream of the future of me in my state, like where I'm at. Like, one example was a dream. I saw the future in a dream where I was just holding my son in my arms and I was talking to my then partner and everything else. And when it actually happened, I remember going, oh, I'm wearing a different shirt. Like, you know, things change. Things can change. I've had a lot of dreams come true that I actually dream of, but there can be little tiny details that change. And it's because the future is fluid, you know, little tiny shifts. Mandela effect in a way, you know, because things do change. Okay, guys, one card, because I want to pull a couple of other ones, and then I'll make sure we get this done before the half-hour mark if I can. Ooh, we have setting your course. Kind of makes sense with what I was saying. Okay, Three of Scrolls. Let's see her. Are you, darling? Okay, should be. There you are. The captain of a ship stands on the forward bridge, surveying the horizons through a telescope. Two officers nearby refer to an unrolled chart. A rainbow colors the sky. This is a great time to broaden your horizon in both your personal and business lives. Don't limit yourself to only one direction. Your opportunities are greater than just what you see. When you widen your scope, you'll find your way to limitless options and boundless wealth. This card can also show a potential partnership or affiliation among three people who can be helpful on your path. Travel or relocation may be on the agenda too. Sorry, it talks about looking at a neighboring card. It's actually, I feel like he's actually looking between that Five of Swords and Magician reversed. And it says, let's see, that card may provide insight into events, people, or partnerships, and even travel or relocation plans. Supporting influences or obstacles on your course. Okay. So here's what I'm assuming, is that it's very possible that you may not end up with this person, but you may still end up having to face this person, you know, to move on to the next part of your life. You have so much potential right now, you know, having the Queen of Wands and everything, you have a lot of potential going for you. You already have a lot, and you have a lot of goals, and you have people who want to work with you, business partners, friends, co-workers, who actually want to help you in your endeavors. I don't even know if this is a season where you should be focusing on love. And so with him looking at that, I think it's like they see you as not really being this honest anyway. And if you two end up fighting or butting heads, I feel like you may have to kind of go through that in the future. You may end up briefly communicating with them or running into them again, but I think it's just going to be part of your journey. I don't think it's meant to be your destination, if you see what I'm saying. I think you have bigger fish to fry, so I wouldn't sweat it, you know? I mean, there's a reason why you feel the way that you do, and that's okay. I mean, you don't want to be arrogant or anything, but you got to question, why are you defensive? You know, why do you feel this defensiveness towards this person? It's probably based out of fear, also based out of like thinking that you deserve better. And so that's probably going to come out even if y'all tried to be together. So I wouldn't force anything, you know? Let's see. Okay, so I pulled some of my homemade cards, and it's weird because I have just as many positive as negative, and I also have some neutrals, okay? And I did get financial abuse, user, control freak, or gold digger, and I also got parental alienation or parental abuse, neglect, or abandonment. And that's because it can be different things. So I think this person, what they went through was someone who used them and who financially abused them. And then I also feel like you or them may have even gone through some sort of parental alienation, or now parental abuse is when your child mistreats you. This person may also have a child that mistreats them, you know, and I feel like they've been going through a lot. And right here, it says next week, be ready. You may even run into this person next week. You never know. And then also it says quit doubting your dreams and goals and go for it. So, you know, I think this person has gone through a lot. You might have too, getting these cards, you know. And so I think what you need to do is focus on those dreams and those goals, because this person probably still has a lot of healing to do. And if anything, you're probably thinking that I want to stay in this energy. You don't want to be in this energy, do you? Where you feel like you're butting heads with them because you're on the defensive, because that's going to bring down your vibration. And if you're hitting these high goals right now, if you end up settling for this, you might end up like ruining that vibe, because you don't need a new project. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to try to go fix someone or heal someone, which sometimes Scorpios can try to do. You need someone who's already got their shit together too. Anyway, this is getting long, so I love you guys. And please, like, if you made it this far, leave a little comment or some little heart emojis or stars or something. And what else? Yes, sub if you want, please. I love you, bless you, till next time.